Hi, everybody. This is Val Hart, the real Dr. Doolittle, and the host of the Animal Talk Coaching Club in this show, the Real Dr. Doolittle Show. I have a wonderful guest you're going to love, just like I do, Ann Angelo. We're talking about essential oils, using essential oils with pets. She's got some wonderful stuff you're going to love. But first, let me tell you what this series is all about. We believe that animals come into our lives for a reason. They are angels, teachers, guides, and healers. And when we learn to recognize, respect, and revere them for the spiritual master teachers and wise ones that they truly are, then they help us become better humans. We have a mission, I have a mission, to share this message, to reach and teach 1 million animal lovers around the world how to better understand their animals, how to communicate with them, how to understand their language, and how to deepen our spiritual bonds. So today, let me introduce you to my guest. You're going to love her. She is Ann Angelo. She's a professional animal communicator and expert in animal communication. She's a board-certified animal massage therapist. She's a Reiki master. She has a children's songwriter, which is so cool, and she uses essential oils in her work with animals. So Ann is also licensed as a clinical social worker. She has a strong background working in trauma and abuse, which lends itself to her work with animals who are suffering from anxiety, fear, and other issues that may stem from abuse histories. Ann combines her faith, her intuitive skills, and her counseling background to assist animals in the healing process, whether as part of animal communication, Reiki, or even a professional massage session. She often uses essential oils and aromatherapy to support animals, and by the way, people too, during her sessions. One of Ann's greatest passions is teaching others how to better understand their animals' emotional and physical states by learning how to communicate with animals yourself. You can find out more about Ann's work on her website at www.intuitivetouchanimalcare.com. Welcome, Ann. I'm delighted you joined me today. This is so much fun.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to see the demo you're going to do today, too. So we're talking today about discovering and sharing the joys of using essential oils with pets, healing, behavior. I know all kinds of things that it can help with. So let's get started. Ready?
Great.
Good. So what actually led you to using essential oils? What got you interested in them?
Yeah, I actually got interested in essential oils through a naturopathic doctor that I had been seeing for myself, who uses a lot of essential oils. And because I found them to be so wonderful, I decided to look into using them with my animals. And once I started looking into it, I found there was a whole world out there for using essential oils with animals. And the first animal that I began using the oils with was my dog Misha. She had a lot of anxiety, fear. She had a rough start, and she's actually the topic of my children's CD that you mentioned. She's a wonderful dog, but she did have some issues. So I began using oils to help her, to support her as best I could, especially with those fears and traumas that she's experienced.
Yeah, wow, I get that. Animals come to us for so many reasons. Often I think they come like a teacher, and they guide us into the things that we need to know. They're the catalyst that kind of forces us to ask for help, to learn, to do research, to expand our own knowing, our own knowledge.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think my animals have definitely guided me along on this journey. They've been the catalyst, like you said. So
yeah. So I know a lot of people have questions about using essential oils with pets, and I know with cats it can be a really big deal because they're so sensitive, and you don't want to use the wrong oils. You don't want to hurt them at all. And I know you have some insider secrets to learning about using oils successfully. So is there anything you can think of that you want to share with us today that would be helpful for people getting started, or even if they're already using them a bit to help them along?
Sure. So just to mention, I'm not a veterinarian. I can't diagnose or treat animals. However, I have done my research, and I'm always learning, and I encourage people to go from here and continue learning. And one thing they might want to do is take a look at this Insider Secrets handbook that I created, and we'll direct people for that at the end of the talk, obviously. But so with cats, I mean, what I've learned is that cats, they lack a liver enzyme, and I hope I'm going to say it right, glucuronyltransferase. Not that everyone wants to do that, but that's what it's called. And because of that, that is the concern that people have about using essential oils, because that's the enzyme that people think that, oh, if they don't have that, they can't process things the way that people can. However, there are plenty of veterinarians out there who have researched and are using the essential oils with cats. What I have found from my research is that the problem comes into play when people use inferior oils. You really do need to use a high level, very well distilled, properly distilled oil. And there is, again, more about that in my handbook. But I have used oils with cats for years, and I encourage people to do their research. The oil that comes up a lot, again, is tea tree oil, and again, the issue, from what I have read from veterinarians who have written about this topic, is that the reports of issues with tea tree oil came from people who were using it improperly. And that can mean a few things. It can mean that they were using too much, like they weren't diluting it enough. It could mean that they were using an inferior tea tree oil as well. Now, the thing is, you could always just use another oil. If that's an oil that causes concern for people, certainly there are other oils. Lots of oils do the same thing as another oil. So, and if you really feel drawn for some reason to use that oil, but you're nervous about it, go to a holistic vet and have them help you with it, a vet that's using essential oils.
Okay, so with cats, I know diluting oils is really important, and so you're saying that tea tree oil, especially if it's not an extremely pure, very properly distilled oil, is probably a no-no. You should not use that unless you know you've got the very best oil, right?
Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's really helpful to know. All right, anything else about cats?
I think just being aware of their sensitivity. They are very sensitive little beings, and when it comes to using them with even ourselves or any animal, just being conscious of diluting them, and or we're making sure that you're using them properly and that you're using that higher level oil. So I know we were going to have me show in a little bit how to maybe do some suggestions for how to apply the oils. But the other thing with all animals is to be in tune with them. When you use anything with an animal, watch them, observe them, start small. That's what I really think is good, is to start with just a little bit and see how it goes, see how they react to it. You might start with an oil one day with a cat and then just wait 24 hours and just see how is that working for them. And of course, I always think it's wonderful if you do animal communication, if you feel in tune with your animal, that you can get the feedback from that animal about how they're responding to the oil, or even if they want you to use a particular oil. So that's what I do in my practice. I try to first ask an animal how they feel about an oil. I might put it near them, put it on myself, let them sniff it, and just intuitively gain knowledge about what might be good for that particular animal.
Yeah, that makes so much sense to me. As communicators, as professional communicators, our work really is communicating. It's letting them tell us, give them a voice, so they can say, oh, that smells like blah blah blah, or ooh, I really don't like that, or Wow, that's intriguing. I want more. Can I lick the bottle? You know, it's like they can act it out, but if you have an open conversation, then they can say, you know, they can tell you what it reminds them of or how it affects their body. You can actually track and feel, you know, what they feel, what their experience and sensation is. So I know you combine the oils with your work is communicating and doing the Reiki and the massage and things like that. So those are really good tips. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yes, I love to combine them. I love being able to do a massage and add in an oil or a few oils that's going to be supporting that animal.
And do you find that you're using specific oils like over and over, or like are there any common ones that you like that you find are useful for a lot of animals? It's not everyone because they're all individual and unique, I know, but anything like that?
You know, I do find that, for instance, I have a dog visiting me right now. My friend's dog. He came in a little bit nervous about the situation, so I used Valor, which is an oil that kind of helps with supporting, you know, helping maybe with, you want to say, courage or feeling strong in spirit, and then also lavender. Also, there's an oil called Peace and Calming. Those are oils that come up a lot, especially with animals who are maybe a little bit more anxious or have a history of, you know, trauma or things happening to them that cause them to be maybe nervous or anxious in new situations or maybe even not new situations. So those are some common ones. Also cedarwood. And I do give a list in the handbook that we mentioned of my 25 favorite oils, my kind of oils that I use more than 25, but you know, the 25 that I tend to go to.
I love that, and I've seen your handbook. I love your handbook. It's awesome. And you know, for people that want to go check it out, you certainly can go to her website at let's see, what is it? IntuitiveTouchAnimalCare.com, and look under essential oils in her menu, and you'll see there's a. Thank you so much. There you go. It's awesome. I love it. Yeah, so on the page you're going to find her infographic that talks about 3 of her favorite oils, and then go ahead and pick up your copy of the handbook, and it'll talk all about history and how to use them and give you some really wonderful tips, including the raindrop technique that I adore, and I can't wait to start using that with my own dog Einstein. So, all right, so let's move on. You're going to demonstrate for us. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see the demonstration. So okay. Show us how you do it, girlfriend.
Okay, we're going to see if Mr. Ronan, if he'd like to help us today. Okay. Ronan, front. Yay, Ronan, come up. Good boy. Okay, so this is our visitor dog. If we can
Ronan.
Good. But so I'm going to take some. Let's see. How about some lavender, Mr. Ronan? Here. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 drop on my hand.
Okay, just 1.
Just 1 right now. Yeah, to start. He's not coming. He's not terribly freaked out right now. He's settled it a little bit. So I put a drop onto my hand, and then I swirl it in. So it's just, there's like a little coating on my hand. And Ronan, come up, come here. Okay. So then I might just take a little bit and put it along the base of his skull. It's a good area when they might be a little nervous. Yeah, there we go. And he's going to also smell that on himself. You know, they have such a great sense of smell. And that is definitely a way that, as we know, you know, aromatherapy, that through scent, that we receive the oils into our systems. And then I also might, it's a little hard to show because he's lower, but I might just pat it along his back. So that oil is diluted at that point because I did swirl it in my hand. Now, if it was maybe a little even smaller than a cat, like a rabbit, you might get to where it's almost like it's like dry on your hand, and you might pat it along the back. You can also opt if you like to use a carrier oil, they call it. This is one that is, it's a combination of things in this oil, and it can be used on animals. And I might use like a teaspoon up to a tablespoon, just depending on the size of an animal, how much you want to dilute it. And then I would start again with a drop or two, and then just swirl it around. And now you've got a good amount of oil, but it is diluted. So if this were, for instance, let me bring over my doggy. This is my pet doggy from childhood that we talked about in our last interview.
I love that. You told such a wonderful story last time about this wonderful creatures that's been your wise one and master teacher all your life almost.
Yeah, and here he is. He's still working. So then I might put that along his back, the base of his skull, and right here on his tail. You can put on the paws. The only thing I would say about that is just to be mindful that your environment is pure, that you don't have chemicals and toxins in your home and on the floor, that you wipe the paws before you put that on the paws, because the concern might be that it might carry the toxins into the body.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, so another reason to keep our homes toxin-free, amongst many. And then the nice thing is, when you do things like this, you have oil for yourself. So you might just kind of put it on your chest or put it on your temples, put it on the base of your skull. So
I like that. I always tell my people, treat yourself and treat your animal. There's the human-animal body-mind mirror, where you're sharing issues, where you're reactive and responding to each other's issues. There's that energetic connection and dynamic. So, sometimes what they're carrying isn't all their stuff, it's ours. And sometimes we're feeling what they're feeling. So if we help neutralize and soothe both parties, I find it really effective. So I'm really glad you put that out. You pointed that out.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. We have to monitor ourselves for our animals' benefits as well as our own.
Great, great. So is there anything else you can demonstrate for us? Any other points or places or ways to apply it?
Well, one way isn't exactly applying it, but diffusers are wonderful sources of enjoying the oils. And you just put some drops of oil in, like I use I have a few water diffusers in my home. I love to sleep with them. When I'm working, I have them next to me. You just put a few drops in and plug it in, and it goes into the air. So you're taking in those oils all around you, and your animals are taking in those oils as well. It's a very gentle way to receive the oils. It's a wonderful thing, especially if you're having a cold or something like that, to inhale the oils. Another way is, this is a spray bottle, and you can make your own oils. You could use this as a gift even for somebody, for people or for their pets. And I will, whatever that animal's kind of thing is, and I might even use it, I often in the summer and spring especially, use these for a flea and tick preventative.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of having to use something that might be toxic or harmful for our animals. If you join my email list, I'm going to be, I'll be sending out things like that, especially as we go into the spring and summer, some hints and things about how to make your own flea and tick preventatives. And then you just, you fill this up with clean water, distilled water, purified water, and there's a certain amount of different types of oils you can put in depending on the size of the animals. I don't want to take up too much time on that with that right now, but and then you just spray. So Tiger's getting, this is Tiger, by the way. So he's getting some oil. It smells lovely. That's actually
I love it.
It's Palo Santo. That's one of my favorite smelling oils.
Which one? Which one?
Palo Santo.
Palo Santo. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful smelling oil. It's also used as a flea and tick. It's a wonderful oil. And there's something called purification that we use often cedarwood, peppermint, all these great oils to keep those bugs off our pets.
Wow, I love that. We could have a whole show just on doing flea and tick prevention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So, do you have any wonderful stories for us about how the oils have helped animals?
Well, I mean, just recently, my dog was playing with another dog, and they're good friends, but that dog has a tendency when they're running around to sometimes nip along this area. And before the parents could catch her, she did it to my dog. And I used something called helichrysum oil, and I just put a little bit on the little bite, and by the next day, I observed that where that wound had been, it had covered over, and it was just almost healed.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. Okay, so helichrysum for wounds or for injury, that kind of thing?
Cool. It can be used to support an animal or a human if they have an injury site. And it's also a calming to support, sort of mild nervous tension and for calming. It can be great for that as well.
Awesome. I love that. Okay.
Yeah, so they have multiple uses. A lot of the oils have a few different things that they can.
I love that. It is so cool. Thanks, Ann. Anything else you want to share before we close it down for today?
Just encouraging people to look for ways to support their animals that maybe don't have the side effects. The oils are definitely one exceptional way to do that I love. And keep in tune with your animals and try to find what's really going to help them in the long run. So a lot of times we think, oh, we got to do something now, quick, and sometimes it's worth. And there are times, absolutely, when you do need to use more traditional things, and that's fine. And I'm not saying anything against that, but just do your research and have things on hand that you can use to support them. Because it can be wonderful, and they smell really great too. So don't forget that.
Well, and I also like that when you're giving it and putting it in their space and their bodies and helping them, and hopefully you're communicating with them, so they're telling you, this is helping me, or their sense of smell is so much more acute than ours. So you don't want to use the wrong one or make it worse. Yeah. But it's also like good preventative. It's preventative help. Hopefully, if you catch things in time, you don't have to wind up with an allopathic, vet doing crisis intervention, crisis medicine. So, that makes sense to me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, thank you so much. So tell people one more time about your handbook. How can they pick up your insider secrets for using the oils?
Yes, you can get that. I'll just show people again. This is the handbook cover. It's upside down, but there you go. If you go to my website, intuitivetouchanimalcare.com, and you go to the essential oils page on that website, you'll see a link to click. And there's some information on that page, but once you click that link, then it will take you to how to get the handbook for free.
Right, and exactly. It's your gift for our viewers today. So thank you so much, Ann. You're awesome. I love your work. Thank you.
Thank you, Val. I love your work too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. So thank you for joining us today. I hope you've learned something you can use. I know I have. As soon as we finish, I'm going to get some oils and use them with Einstein, my miniature, not so miniature schnauzer, my big boy. So be sure to go to Ann's website and get your handbook. I think you'll love it. And send her some feedback. Send us some love. Let us know what you think about the show. And join us next time for our next guest. So again, we've been talking to Ann Angelo of IntuitiveTouchAnimalCare.com. Be sure and get your Quick Start to Animal Talk course, which is your free gift for attending at the AnimalTalkCoachingClub.com. And I think we've done it. We've done another wonderful show. Thank you. Yay. All right. Thanks, Ann. We'll see you later next time. Bye, everybody.